Simple and compound interest. Okay, so we have basic definitions to know. So here I put everything on the slide. You can refer this for future references. So interest is something like what? It's a payment from the borrower. Okay, it's a payment from a borrower to a lender, an amount above the repayment of the principal sum. Okay, that we called as a interest. Okay, above than a principal sum, what we are paying, that we called as a interest. Okay, so that is the amount borrowed at a particular rate. Now, in a general term, rate of interest we will call it as ROI. So this is the bank term ROI. They generally talk it in the like this form. ROI means rate of interest. So interest are two types. One is a simple interest and other one is a compound interest. So we are going to discuss few examples on simple and few examples of compound. So you will get one question, sometimes none, from this simple and compound interest. But when it comes to percentages, you will definitely get one profit and loss question, that is for sure. Okay. Now, so here the definition of a principal: the original sum of money loaned or deposited. Okay, the original sum of money that is loaned or deposited, we call it as a capital, and we also call it as a principal. Now what about interest? The amount of money that you pay to borrower, or the amount of money that you earn from the deposit. Okay, so whatever extra amount you get it for the deposit, we call that as a interest. Next, time. When it comes to time, the duration for which the money is borrowed or deposited. Now why we are always calling deposited, which means that where when it comes to fixed deposit, or when we are dealing with the banks, and when we deposit something, then that stays with the bank, and for what amount we are depositing, and for what time, how much time we are depositing, everything is matters. Now when it comes to rate of interest, so this is ROI. Rate of interest means what? The percent of interest that you pay for a money that you borrowed or earned from the money that you deposited. Okay. Now that is the basic definitions. And if you observe here, if the interest, simple interest definition, see this: if the interest on a sum borrowed for a certain period is added uniformly. So this one point you need to understand. Uniformly means what? It's constant. Okay, so the amount of money which is constantly adding to the principal is called as a simple interest. Okay, now, so interest, how do we calculate it? Now let's take a principal as P. Let's take a principal as P, and R is the rate of interest. Okay, now, so interest will be what? We know that R percentage. Okay, R percentage of P. This is the interest, right? You agreed or not? Interest is nothing but what? R percent of P, rate of interest of the principal. Okay, and if this is for 1 year, we can directly consider it as R percent of P. And if it is for more than 1 year, if it is for 2 years, then we need to simply multiply with 2. If you have 3 years, we need to multiply with 3. If it is for T years, we need to multiply with T. And if you clearly observe, simple interest is equals to R percentage, which means R by 100 into P into T. So which is PTR by 100. So this we learned in our childhood. So hope I am clear how we are getting this PTR by 100. So PTR by 100 is nothing but R percent of P into the time. That is PTR by 100. That we call it as a simple interest. Okay. So simple interest is equals to simply PTR by 100. So P, principal amount, R, rate of interest, time period. Okay. Now the total amount what we need to pay after so many years, maybe 5 years or maybe 6 years. So simply how much amount we need to pay to clear the due? We need to pay principal and we need to pay simple interest also. Okay. So be clear. This is the amount. A means what? The amount which we need to pay to clear the debt. That is what? Principal plus simple interest. And to calculate simple interest, what we need to do? That case we need to go with the formula like PTR by 100. So be clear while reading the question. Is it asking about the simple interest only? Is it asking about the interest only? Or is it asking the total amount to pay to clear the debt? So please be clear, these two are two different things. And see, if you close the look, simple interest is nothing else but an application of concept of percentages that I already explained here. Okay. Now, so when it comes to the question, how do we solve this question? Okay, so directly you can write it as PTR by 100. You can directly write it as PTR by 100. Okay, so here a principal is equals to what? 15,625. No need to write. I'll send you this document to you. Just have a look. Principal is 15,625. Rate of interest is 2.5. Okay, 2.5 percentage, and time period is given as 4 years. Okay, now here we need to find out what simple interest. Okay, so simple interest we need to find out. So simple interest is equals to PTR by 100. 15,625 into 2.5 into 4. Sorry, this is 2.5 into 4 by 100. Okay, so but in the examination what we'll do, we'll simply multiply 2.5 with 15,625 and then we'll multiply with 4. Don't do all that. See, if you observe 2.5 and 4, let us consider it as 25 and 4. 25 4 is what? 100. Here 2.5, no, which means 10. So 15,625 into 10 by 100. So 0 gets cancelled. So 15,625 by 10, which will become 1562.5. So this is the simple interest on this sum for this rate of interest and to this year. Okay. So that is only simple interest. Now the same question is asking how much amount he need to pay to clear his debt. So in that case, what we have to do? We need to add principal plus we need to add the simple interest also. What is the simple interest? 15,162.5. So this will give you the total amount. Okay, 15,062.5. So that will be 0.5, 7, 8, 11, 17, 1. So 17,187 he need to pay to clear the debts of him. Okay, so this is how you need to solve. Now, if you observe here, P, T, R and SIA. So these are all the terms here we have. Okay, now I'll round up to get a clarity. So here P is one variable, R is one variable, T is one variable, SI is one variable and amount is one variable. Okay, so SI equal to PTR by 100. So SI equals to PTR by 100. Now here in this, how many unknown variables are there? 4 unknown variables are there. SI is one unknown variable, P is one unknown variable, T is one unknown variable and R is one unknown variable. So out of these 4 terms, if you have any 3 terms, we can find the remaining. So according to the mathematical rule, so if we have one unknown variable, one equation is enough. If we have 2 unknown variables, 2 equations are required. If we have n unknown variables, we require n equations. Now here we have 4 unknown variables. So out of the 4, if you have any 3, we can find the remaining. So which means sometimes simple interest is given, principal is given, rate, time is given. We need to find out rate. Sometimes simple interest is given, principal is given, rate is given. We need to find out the time. Sometimes principal, simple interest is given, something like that. Out of the 4, if you have any 3, we can find the remaining. Okay, so here T is in a form of years. Now sometimes instead of giving years, they can also give you like the days. Okay, now how do you convert the days into, years into the days? So here principal is given as 3,65,000 principal and the rate of interest is given as 2.5 percentage and the time period. So time period we need to calculate. Here it is not directly given. We need to calculate. So how do we calculate? This is 2nd Jan 2003 and we know that Jan has 31 days. So 2nd Jan 2003 to January 31st. So total how many days? So 2nd Jan to 31st Jan. How many days? 29 days. Okay. So including 2nd Jan. Including 2nd Jan 29 days. Now when it comes to February, the same year. So 1st Feb to 16th Feb. How many days? Again 16 days. So 29 plus 16, 45 days. So the amount is returned in 45 days. Now how do we calculate then? 45 by 365. So this is how you need to write it. So time period generally given in years, but here it is not given in years, it is given in days. So 45 by 365 years anamata. This is 45 by 365 years. Now you need to simply apply the formula. Simple interest equals to P. P is how much? 3,65,000 into T. 45 by 365 into R. 2.5. Okay, 2.5 by 100. Okay, by 100. So here 0, 0, 2 zeros you can get cancelled like this. So 365 ones are 365 tens are. Okay, so 10 into 45 into, we can write it this as 25. So 25 by 10, 0, 0 gets cancelled. So 45 25s are. Okay, so 45 25s. So how do we do this? So multiplication, general multiplication you have to do. 45 20s. 45 20s is how much? Like 900. Huh? 25 plus 1. Total answer. Huh? Huh? What's your doubt? నేను చెప్పేది చెప్తున్నా. Okay, okay. So 5 5s are 25 and 5 4s are 20, 22 into 2 5s are 10, 2 4s are 8, 9. Okay. So 5 to 11, 1125. Okay, 1125 is the simple interest. So that's a answer for the question. So here the intention to explain this question is, if it is given in the days, how do we calculate? So hope I am clear with this. Now I'll go with the next question. If it is a similar kind of a question, I won't explain. What is the rate of interest if a sum of 10,000 amounts to 12,000 in 4 years under simple interest? So here what is given? Principal amount is given, total amount is given. Okay, so this is principal and this is amount. Amount is nothing but what? P plus SI. Okay, now see, if you know amount 12,000 and P we know that 10,000. And what about SI? That is what? Obviously 2000. So SI will be what? 2000 and time period is given as 4 years. We need to find out what? The rate of interest. So principal is given like 10,000. Rate of interest we need to find out and T is given as 4. So hope you can do it. So it's very easy example. Now the next question. A certain sum of money amounts 12,000 in 2 years, 13,000 in 3 years. Find the rate of interest. So if you observe this, principal that is not given. Principal is not given, but okay, so I'll give you some idea. So principal is, let us take it as P, and after 2 years. So after 2 years it will become 12,000 and after 3 years it will become 13,000. Okay, so just calculate for 1 year how much it is increasing, for 2 years how much it will be decreasing. Okay, so with that you can easily find out principal and from that you can get it as rate of interest also. So this is also you can consider as a homework. Now, so these kind of questions you will get in the examination. I'll give you 2 minutes of time, because if I explain directly then it may be not fruitful. I just want to give you a time to you, then I'll explain. Analyzing the question, understanding the question is main. Okay. Now, if a certain sum of money triples itself in 20 years, so certain sum of money that we don't know. Okay. So that certain sum of money I am considering it as P. Okay. So P is a principal I am assuming. Fine. Now, it triples itself in 20 years. So triples means what? P becomes 3P. Okay. P becomes 3P in the span of 20 years. Okay. So it will take 20 years to get 3P. And in how many years the same sum becomes 5 times. Okay. Now it should become 5P. Okay. How many years? The total. from P to 5P, how many years that we are going to find out. Okay. Now, so this is the basic diagram that you need to understand. So P becomes 3P in 20 years. That P becomes 5P in how many years? That is a basic question. Okay. Now, this is the simple interest question. Anyhow, it's clearly mentioned in the examination also. A sum of money in a simple interest, it got tripled itself. Okay. Now, after 20 years, let's observe this one. After 20 years, it got tripled means what? That 3P, can I consider it as P plus 2P? We can consider. Okay, tripled means what? Three times. Three times is nothing but principal plus 2P. So this 2P is the interest for 20 years, right? This 2P is what? Interest for 20 years. So why we are taking this interest for 20 years? Because every year the interest is same. Because in a principal, in a simple interest, every year the interest is calculated on principal only. So if the principal is constant, obviously the rate of interest is constant and the amount is also constant. Now it got tripled, which is nothing but 3P is nothing but principal plus 2P. So this 2P is the interest for 20 years. Now how do we calculate interest for 20 years? So interest, so simple interest formula. Simple interest formula is what? PTR by 100. Okay. Now in place of simple interest, so what is the interest here? 2P is the interest. Okay. So 2P is the interest is equals to principal is as it is P, time period is what? 20 years into R, the rate of interest that we don't know. Rate is R by 100. Okay. So from this we'll get rate. P gets cancelled, 2 gets cancelled, 0 gets cancelled. So R is equal to 10 percentage, which means with a rate of interest of 10 percentage, the principal will become 3 times. Okay, the principal will become 3 times. Now, according to the question, we need to find out 5 times. Okay, so P should become 5P, which means the interest which going to be added will be what? 4P. So 4P interest should be added. So that 4P is what? Simple interest. 4P is equals to P principal into T, that we are going to find out. T into rate of interest is 10 by 100. Okay. So P gets cancelled, 0 gets cancelled. So T equal to 40, which means for the rate of interest of 10 percentage, the principal will become 5 times in 40 years. So that is the answer for the question. Hope I am clear. Now, so let's take the sum. Okay, sum is not given, principal is not given. So let us consider the sum. Let us consider the sum. Let us sum, that will be 100 rupees. That's a very simple case. So I am assuming as 100 rupees. Okay. So I am writing everything clear to get a clarity about it. So simple interest, and he is calculating simple interest for every 6 months. So simple interest for 6 months. Okay. I have given information like if it is for 2 days or 3 days. If it is days given, how do we do it? Simply the number of days by 365. But here months is given. So as already Sai Krishna told, like if it is month is given, we need to divide by 12. Okay. So here principal is 100 into rate of interest. Actually, it is 10 given, and that is for 6 months, right? So 6 by PTR by 100. But here we are considering 6, that is months. So I am doing it for 12, 6 by 12. So here you will get what? 6 ones are 6 twos are 2 ones are 2 fives are 0 gets cancelled, 0 gets cancelled. We left with 5. So which means the simple interest for 6 months, that is 5 rupees. Now simple interest for last 6 months. Okay, so first 6 months the interest is 5 rupees. The last 6 months, what will happen? So generally if we calculate for 1 year, we can take 100 as the base value. but here he is calculating every 6 months. Now which is nothing but 100 plus 5. This will be the principal. Okay, 100 plus 5, that will be the principal, into again same 10 rupees is the rate of interest, sorry, 10 percentage, into again the months will be 6 by 100 into 2, 12. Okay, so here you will get the answer as 5.25 rupees. Okay, so for the first half of the year the interest is 5 rupees, the next half of the year the interest is 5.25. Now at the end of the year, so if he charging, now the question is what? Okay, now we need to find out the total amount. Okay, so the total amount will be what? Total amount will become 100 plus 5 plus 5.25. So which will become what? 11025. So this is the total amount he need to pay to claim it. Okay, to clear it. Okay, now based on this we need to calculate the rate of interest. So generally what will happen? 100 plus 10 rupees has to be done because it is the 10% interest, but here it is not 10 percentage because here it is not 10 rupees, here it is something else. Then how do we calculate? So effective rate of interest, so the effective rate of interest ROI will be what? 110.25 minus 100, that will become 10.25. So here 10.25 money, 10.25 rate of interest, both are the same because we are considering it as 100. If you are not considering it as 100, you will get some other value. So percentage value, actual value, both are the same when we are dealing with 100 and when we are taking 100 as a base value. So that's why I have taken 100 as a base value, because it avoids such unnecessary calculations. So the intention to take 100 as a base value is, here you no need to calculate one more, you no need to write a one more step. So here the amount we are getting as 10.25. So 10.25 is what percentage of 100? That is again 10.25 percentage. So answer for the question is B. So this is how you need to solve the question. Okay. Next. A certain sum of money amounts rupees 9,800 after 5 years. Okay. After 5 years it becomes what? 9,800 and 12,005 after 8 years. Now I'll give you an idea. Certain sum of money, how much, that is not given. Principal. Okay. Principal will become what? 9,800. Okay. After how many years? 5 years. Okay. Now this 9,800 is principal plus 5-year interest, right? This is how you need to understand that 9,800 is what? Principal plus 5-year interest. Next, it will become 12,005 after 8 years. Okay. So this is after 5 years and this is after 8 years. That will become 12,005. After 8 years means what? From principal to after 8 years it will become 12,005. And if you clearly observe the difference between 12,005 and 9,800, or else you can directly write it as 8-year interest. 8-year interest will be 12,005. Okay, so if you solve these principal, these two will get cancelled, and if you subtract, and you will get 3-year interest here. 3-year interest is what? 12,000 minus 9,800. Here you will get some value. So that value will be what? The rate of interest. 3-year rate of interest you will get it. 1-year rate of interest will be your answer. So hope I am clear with this point. This is anyhow the very easy question. Okay. Now next, come to the compound interest. Now you need to understand the differences between simple interest and compound interest. Okay. So I already told you, like, simple interest. Okay, so simple interest is what? Interest is calculated on principal amount. Okay, if the principal amount is same, simple interest is same. So principal amount is always same. We can say that simple interest is always same. Every year it is same. But the basic difference between simple and compound interest is, here interest is calculated on initial year principal amount. Okay. Now what is the base difference? I will take you 10,000 as a value so that you will get a clarity about this. Okay. So I am taking 10,000 as a value. 10,000, let's take it 10% rate of interest. So under CI, what will happen? So 10% of 10,000 is how much? 1,000. Okay. So this we call it as an interest and this we call it as a principal. Okay. Now when it comes to simple interest, so after 1 year, how much he need to pay? 10,000 plus 1,000. But when it comes to compound interest, what will happen? This 1,000 is added to this 10,000. Now this will become 11,000. 11,000, 10 percentage. 10 percentage means what? 1100. Now see, this is first year CI and this is second year. Okay. Now again this 1100 will be going to add here 1100. Now here what will happen? 12100. Now again 10 percentage. 10 percent is what? 1210. This is third year CI. Now again it will going to add here. So every year it goes like this. So 13310. 1331. Okay. So this is the scenario happened in a compound interest. So every year the interest is added to principal, that will become a new principal. Okay. If that will become a new principal, obviously what? The rate of interest, if the rate of interest is same aina kuda, then the compound interest will be every year changed. And if you observe one point here, simple interest and compound interest both are same in the first year. Simple interest and compound interest both are same in the first year because both principles are same in the first year. But when it comes to simple interest, every year the interest is same. But when it comes to compound interest, every year it's going to be differ. So this is a formula. It's little complicated to remember, but if you clearly observe, this is again a population kind of a thing. So total population is equals to total population equals to n of 1 plus x1 by 100. Did you remember this one? Previously we just discussed this. Okay. So this is like compound interest. Okay. So this is the compound interest formula. And be clear, we all think that this is the compound interest formula. So compound interest formula anagane, what we will do it? P of 1 plus r by 100 whole power n antam. But this is not compound interest formula. Be clear. This is the total amount formula. Be clear guys, this is the total amount formula. And if you want to find out the compound interest, from this we need to subtract P. Be clear, generally in a compound interest the total amount will be asked, that is okay. But in the examination if it is asking about compound interest, we remember only one formula. Compound interest ante chalu, we remember that P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. Adi compound interest formula kaadu. It is not compound interest formula. It is what? The total amount what we need to pay when it is compound interest is added. Now if you want to find out only compound interest, what we have to do? We need to subtract the principal from that. So be clear about these two formulas. So this is A, this is not CI. This is CI. Okay, CI if you want to find out total amount lonchi we need to subtract P. Then only we will get CI. And this is for 1 year annually and this is for half yearly. Half yearly what will happen? See, P plus P of 1 plus in place of R by 2 whole power 2n, and if it is quarterly in place of R by 4 whole power 4n. So here only n 2n 4n will be changed. Okay. Now see, you can directly calculate like this. When an interest is compounded annually, but time is in a fraction. Let us take it as 3 2 by 5 years. You can do like this. Okay, this is the tip, guys. You can remember. If it is like given as 3 years or 4 years, you can apply the formula. But if it is not given like 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, if it is given like 3 2 by 5 years and 3 1 by 3 years, then you can do like this. Okay, when rates are in a different years, different for a different year, for a different rates are given, then how do we do? Total amount equal to P of C. For say R1 percentage for the first year, R2 percentage for the second year, or 3% for the third year. But these cases are not there in a simple interest. Why? Because there every year the interest is same. But when it comes to compound interest, that will be differ. Maybe there is a chance of difference. So that's why if it is given as different rate of interest for different years, then in that case what we'll do, P of 1 plus R1 by 100, 1 plus R2 by 100 and 1 plus R3 by 100. So this is how you need to do it. So I do agree, for a compound interest we have so much complex calculations. So it is not as simple as that simple interest. The question is simple. The question is as like simple interest, but when it comes to calculation part, simple interest is very easy, but compound interest is little complicated. Okay, now so we can do this one because this is a direct application of compound interest. Find the CI on a sum of 12,000 in 2 years, 10% per annum. So this is the very direct question, you can do it. Now this we can solve. Okay, now this we can solve. A certain sum of money becomes 3,750 in 2 years, 4,000 in 3 years, then find the rate of interest under CI, compound interest. Okay, now, so how do we do this? So first let us consider 2-year interest. Okay, 2 years it will be what? 3,750. Sum of money becomes means what? That is principal plus rate of interest. Now for 3 years it will be what? 4,000. 3 years it will be 4,000. Now for 2 years what is the formula we need to apply? The certain sum of money becomes is nothing but what? Total amount. So total amount formula we know it. What's the total amount formula? That is P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. So here this is for 2 years. You can consider it as square, which is 3750. So we don't know the principal and we don't know the rate of interest, but we know one thing, that is for 2 years and the total amount. Okay, now you can write this also the same manner. So here 4,000 is equals to what? P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power cube. Okay, whole cube. So here if you observe this point, every year principal is same. Okay, every year principal is same. So if you take this one to the left hand side, so what will become? 3750 by 3750 by 1 plus R by 100 whole square. This is P in the first case. In the second case, what is P? 4,000 by 1 plus R by 100 whole cube. This is for the second case. Okay, in both the cases P is same, right? So you can directly equate these two. So if you equate these two, what will happen? So 3750 by 1 plus R by 100 whole square is equals to 4,000 by 1 plus R by 100 whole cube. Okay, so for this cube gets cancelled. Okay, see, I do accept the calculations are little complex, but we can't do anything. We have to do this. Now 1 plus R by 100, I am taking this 1 plus R by 100 to the left hand side. So which will give you as 4,000 by 3,750. Now from this, if you get R by 100, so you will get it 16 by, if you calculate this one, you will get it as 16 by 15. So 16 by 15 minus 1. So R by 100 is equals to what? 1 by 15. So R is equals to 100 by 15, which is equals to 16 point something. So 100 by 16 value is what? 6.66, right? So this is again 6 point something. 100 by 16. Okay, I'll write it again. Okay, so finally the rate of interest will be what? 6.66. Okay, so I do accept a little complex calculation, but you need to understand how I solve this. Okay, so hope I am clear. a certain sum of money becomes double. Okay, so for example, generally మనం ఏం తీసుకుంటాం, p is the principal amount. Okay, so let us consider, let's take it p as principal. So if p as a principal amount, after 6 years what will happen? So after 6 years, the question told us like it will become 2p. Okay, so this is the total amount, because it says a certain sum of money becomes double itself in 6 years. So after 6 years, the total amount, which is principal and compound interest, this is the combination of principal and compound interest. And in how many years the same sum becomes 8 times. Okay, so after how many years? After how many years it got 8 times, okay, into 8p anamata. So it will become 8 times. And total amount formula is what? We know that the total amount formula is what? P plus p of 1 plus r by 100 whole power n. Okay, this is the total amount, and we know that the total amount after 6 years. Okay, now I'll write it here. So the total amount after 6 years, it will be what? 2p. Be clear, the total amount after 6 years, that will be 2p. 2p equal to what? P of 1 plus r by 100 whole power how many years? 6 years. Okay, so this is the actual formula. This is the total amount they need to pay, and this is the compound interest formula. Okay, now what we need to get it? We need to get it 8 times. Okay, so no need to do complex calculations here. So take this 2p and we need to make it to 8p. So how do we make it to 8p? So 2p, and here it is something related to cubes, I mean the square kind of thing, the power kind of thing. So we need to go with the power, and we need to find out how many years, అంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ డిఫరెన్స్ రావాలి. సో పవర్ లో డిఫరెన్స్ వచ్చేలా మనం ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి. సో 2 ని ఏ పవర్ చేస్తే విల్ గెట్ ఇట్ యాజ్ 8. సో ఏం చేయాలి? లెట్స్ మేక్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ క్యూబ్. ఓకే, so 2p whole cube. So two both sides I am doing as cube. 1 plus r by 100 whole power 6 cube. So both side I am taking as cube, and we need to get it. Here I am getting what? 8p cube. Again 8p cube, and of p cube 1 plus r by 100 whole power 6 into 3. So a power m whole power n will become what? A power m whole power n will become a power mn. Okay, so a power mn, which is nothing but 18. Okay, and we need to get only 8p here, and here we have p cube. So both sides I am dividing by p square. Both sides I am dividing by p square. So p square cube gets cancelled, p square cube gets cancelled. Now here we left with 8p is equals to p of 1 plus r by 100 whole power 18. Now from this what you can understand? Okay, from this what you can understand? To get it 8 times, it will take how many years? 18 years. It will take 18 years to get it 8 times. So answer for the question is 18 years. So hope I am clear. So this is about simple and compound interest formulas. Okay, so hope you understand this one.